Data masking is something, right? Whenever you're allowing, let's say
Mm-hmm.
Workday support is there, you have raised a case with Workday, something is not working in your tenant. Okay. And
Okay.
Workday gets into your tenant and you have provided um, this thing, data data masking actually. So there is enable and disable data masking tasks are there. So if you enable data masking, Workday cannot actually view your data in the tenant. Okay. Data will be masked. So Workday
Oh,
will
really?
ask you please disable that option so that we can actually see what's going on in the tenant. So there are tasks like, so there is enable and disable data masking is there. Okay. So this task will allow any of the account that is getting into Workday to prevent seeing the data in Workday or to exempt that account to see the data in Workday. So, okay, enable data masking for, okay. If you actually provide, if you actually take this
Mm-hmm.
up and submit this one, now
Okay.
any Workday support team who is actually assisting you on any of the data issues in Workday, they can actually get into Workday and see your data because you've enabled option data masking for them. Okay, so that data masking will not happen. They'll be able to view the data and see what's going on in the tenant. After they
Oh,
fix the issue, again, you'll be disabling
disable.
data masking. Okay, you will disable this data masking so that no one can actually see the data in the tenant. So once you click on the removal button and click on OK. So
What kind of data? I'm a little confused here. So, any data or like,
anything. Let's say you have you have an integration actually. You have an integration that is processing huge amount of data and it is failing. Okay.
Mhm.
And you reach out to Workday. So we have an integration developed. It was working fine before and now it is failing because of data issues and all. So we wanted to
Mm.
see whether it is a tenant issue or a Workday issue or something, technically our issue. So you have raised a case. Workday will be examining that integration and say that it's a product issue, Workday integration issue. So can you
Mm.
actually enable the data masking for us so that we can see what is happening in the tenant? So you'll enable data masking option for them for Workday support account so that they can see the integration, view the integration, run the integration, do any kind of enhancements. All these things they'll be able to do and they'll be able to see the data once you
Mm.
provide data masking, once you enable data masking option for them so that they can see what's happening in the tenant. If you're not providing, they'll not be able to see the data in the tenant. Okay, data masking will not happen and they'll be able to see the data that is sitting in your tenant.
Mm-hmm.
That way, so far Workday is the only kind of provider who can actually get into your tenant and fix the issues. But if you have any kind of AMS support, okay, so application
Mm.
management support team, if you have, and they are actually they work for based on the request, and you need to provide data masking access to them so that they can view the data and fix the any kind of data issues and all. If they wanted to, they can fix. But this is the option that you need to use to enable data masking and to disable data masking also.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you understood, right?
Yeah, got it.
Basically, this will allow
Mm.
third person. I don't say third party or third person, but generally Workday is the only kind of product support team. They'll be getting into your tenant in case of any issues that is not resolved or you're not able to fix that. Workday is the only option that you have that can get into your tenant and fix the issue. So for that, in order to make them to see your data in the tenant, you actually
Okay.
enable data masking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can actually replicate the same scenario. If you're a customer resource, if partner company resource wanted to get into your tenant, you actually do this one. So you provide all the data masking options to them. So the data will be masked for.
Mm. Okay.
That way you can actually mask and unmask your data in Workday.
Okay.
That is one thing. Brief overview on Active Directory. Okay. So Active Directory is one of the system that actually generates email actually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Generates an email for an employee and that provide access to other applications. Okay. So when employee gets hired into the system, Active Directory system needs some information from system actually. The moment, let's say Amit Kumar has joined today. Okay. And the moment Amit Kumar has joined,
You can get
uh,
access.
basically, Workday profile will get created. The moment Workday profile will get created, an integration will automatically send a notification or hire business process. The moment employee gets hired into Workday through hire business process, automatically hire business process will send a notification to Active Directory team that Amit Kumar has joined the organization. Okay. And based on that, they'll be creating an email, first name, last name, at the rate domain.com. With that with that syntax, they'll be
Mm-hmm.
creating an email. Once that email creates, Active Directory will update employee's email in Workday, and that's how employee will get email address added in Workday. Okay. So for that, if you see, let's say if there is a BP called hire. Okay. Let's see. We don't have any default definition, but let me see. We have a business process called hire that will be hiring an employee in the system. Okay. So this is a business process.
Default.
Okay. So you have a business process called hire actually. Okay. Now, most of the organization, what they'll do is the moment employee gets hired into the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to have dynamically in notification should be sent to IT team who works for Active Directory application. Okay. So what you'll do, right? You'll go to this notifications. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Say once you get into the notifications page, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll be configure a notification to IT team. Okay. Let's say this is the email address of IT team.
Okay.
This is subject actually.
Mm-hmm.
Here you will go for body.
Hmm.
Just ensure that this is coming from the business object, not a calculated field.
Hmm.
Okay, this is, so you must see this. This is from a candidate business object. We don't want anything from candidate. So we want thing from the worker business object. Hmm. Okay, this is the legal first name. This is your last name
Mm-hmm.
and first name, last name. Okay, you can actually. So you'll be giving complete demographic information in the notification that your first name, last name, and whom you will be reporting to, your the supervisor organization, everything you'll be adding that, and IT will be getting it. IT will be getting a notification with all the information you have shared, and based on first name and last name, they'll create your email ID. Active Directory will create an email, and that's how your email first will get created, and will be communicating to all other modules actually. So basically, so whenever you're configuring any event which is business process, from there, if you want to trigger a notification, you can actually go to the related access of the business process, add notifications, and you'll be getting into this screen. You're going to
Okay.
you're going to add the content in which
Okay.
you wanted to send some notification, some data, right? So this
Right.
employee has joined. We need to create an email for him. So such kind of content you can actually add. So I've taken first name, last name as hired on some date. I'll give hard coded date.
Okay.
So likewise, you can add as much content that you wanted to have. That would be easy for you to see what information is required. Okay. So
Hmm.
this Janet is slow. I think it's processing, but yeah, this is how you'll be configuring a notification. And once anyone gets hired into the system, this notification will be sending that employee information to Active
So,
Directory, and Active Directory will be creating an email.
so one question. Is this automatic process or like
This is
I need?
automation only.
Okay.
Automation. Okay. So once you configure this notification, click on OK, right? Whenever hire
Okay.
event happens, when let's say
Okay.
I'm getting hired through this hire business process, automatically my first name and last name will be synced to this notification, and notification will be sent to IT teams that Amit Kumar has joined on so and so date and will be reporting to this manager and part of this supervisor organization. a notification will be sent, and based on this information, IT team will be creating an email. IT team will be creating an email with first name dot last name at domain.com. They'll give and they'll create an email. And that's how employee email address will create by Active Directory.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, can you check one more, show me the task, what task this is, like the Active Directory
This
task?
is not a task. This is within the
Okay.
business process.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
So this is within the business process.
higher
And
every like, let's say, because this is higher only. So what
this
else?
is higher business process. For every business process, if you wanted to configure a notification, you can do that. Let's say after create position, you wanted to
Hmm.
send a notification to hiring manager that position has got created. You can actually configure similar notification to that. And request compensation change business process is there, which allows you to change the compensation for an employee. So if you wanted to send the moment compensation get changes, you wanted to send this information to HR or compensation team saying that this employee's compensation has got changed, so that they can see something got changed actually. So like that, you can configure the default notifications so that the moment business process completes, automated notification will be sent to employee.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Every
generally,
process you have.
every business process will have this kind of notifications, or like a default, or somebody has to create this kind of
You need to
notification.
create actually. If there is a requirement, you need to create. If there is no requirement, you'll not create. Since now you're saying how to connect a Workday and Active Directory, right? That's how
Mm.
Active Directory system will get employee first name and last name, and from there they'll create an email address. So that is the reason why a notification we have tried to create. In general scenario also, how does Active Directory get information of an employee? So they need to get some information, right? If in order to create an email address for an employee, they need to get some information of an employee. So your IT team wanted to have this dynamically. The moment employee gets hired, they wanted to get the first name and last name information of employees so that they can create an email address immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some companies will ask you to create your own email address. How that is different way of doing that, or like no?
Own email address in the sense what?
Some, like, let's say they will ask us to create your own email address or something. So
Generally,
once
it
you
should
ask,
be a company email, no?
okay,
If
yeah,
you're
company,
working for
but they will ask, like, the format, whatever, dot or underscore, or some companies will
that and all
have.
will define in Active Directory. Okay.
Okay.
It's not employee choice. Okay. It's
Okay.
Active Directory format. General format is first name dot last name at the rate the domain.com is a general
Okay.
format of email address. Okay. If there is any already email address exists, automatic system will take, let's say Amit Kumar at abc.com is the email address that Active Directory has got created. And one more Amit is getting hired. In that scenario, amit.kumar1 at the rate abc.com kind of email address will create. That and all will be taken care by Active Directory. Okay, Workday,
Hmm.
there is nothing you can do in Workday. You only send information to other system. What Workday is a HR system, right?
Hmm.
There is a people system which stores people data. Okay. Workday will not create any email address. Workday will send people data
Okay.
to any other Active Directory system or Okta system, any other system. And based on that, your third party system will create email address for you.
Okay.
Workday does not have a capability to create
Copy.
email address.
Oh, okay.
So you can create, but how do you actually authenticate that? Okay. Active Directory, in the sense, Active Directory is a kind of account that is
Hmm.
associated with my MS Office, and where you complete all the applications will be linked to Active Directory. That's how your applications will be controlled. But for Workday, though you create an user, you cannot attach multiple applications. No. So it's a HR system actually, which stores all the HR data. So in that way,
Hmm.
you cannot associate any other kind of option that creates an email address. Nothing in Workday will happen. So all will happen in outside
Okay.
Workday, like
Okay.
Okta system or Active Directory system.
Hmm. Got
So
it.
notification is one of the options that will notify you.
How many notifications do you have each business process? Many, or only one or two?
No, we can have many. Let's say many. There is no limit for that. Okay. You can have.
Okay.
Let's say if I go for higher, okay, and so you can
Okay.
see there are two notifications configured here. Okay, so HR administrator and
Okay.
so administrator. The information, if I click on this, You'll be able to get into the notifications. You can see a new hire worker, a manager, worker, starting. So whatever I've given, right?
Okay.
The similar kind of body messages you can configure. Okay, so there is no limit for creating a
Okay.
notification actually. Okay,
Whatever the new, if there is nothing is available, okay,
yeah,
only
yeah.
create.
Anything you can configure, and this is one of the ways where you can notify something that is happening in Workday to users actually. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
any business process transaction at any step you wanted to configure a notification, you can actually. Okay, you can define. So when you configure a notification, you have an option. Okay, so here you can see trigger on status, on entry, on exit, on
Mm-hmm.
approve. Okay, so the moment you you initiate a transaction. Okay, so the
Mm-hmm.
status, once the transaction is completed, based on your status, a notification will be sent. This is one of the options. On entry, the moment you initiate a transaction and data getting added to Workday, in that way also, that moment also you can actually configure a notification. On exit, once you complete the transaction, there will be a notification sending that this transaction has got completed. In that way, you can configure notifications to business process. It's not specific to one business process. For every business process, you can do that. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Clear.
That is on Active Directory. That's how your both Workday and Active Directory system will communicate to each other. There are some delivered reports we have, which allows you to view the user activity and check something is suspicious that is happening in the tenant action. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say one employee has performed some transaction. Okay. And that has impacted, or let's say one employee has terminated. Okay.
Okay.
An employee who is part of Workday team has terminated one employee. Okay. But that termination was not intentional. It was a mistake actually. Okay. One person has terminated an employee by mistake actually. Now
Mm.
employee hire event has got triggered and a notification is sent to employee that you've been terminated. An employee manager reaches out to HR. How come the termination will happen without any kind of initiation or action from the manager? So then
Mm-hmm.
the HR team will be reaching out to Workday. Something has happened. Automatically, employee has got terminated. Then the person who has done this accidentally comes up and says that we did this by mistake. Okay. So till that point, you're clear that
Mm-hmm.
someone has by mistake performed a transaction. But what if you don't know who has performed the task? Who has done that particular activity? If you wanted to understand, you have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
reports that actually gets you without actually checking with any other group of employees. Okay. So there are some standard reports actually. One is view user activity report
Mm-hmm.
from when to when. Okay, from when to when you wanted to understand the user activities. Okay, let's say I wanted to check for Jacqueline. Okay, so for this user from 23rd to 30th of December, I wanted to know what all she has performed. Okay, you can see here to edit, get edit result and reference prompt. It's a target urgent IP address from where all these activities has performed. So tasks and all, you can see which task she has used.
Mm-hmm. Even reading or somebody reads also
What is it?
the read category, right? It's the displays also somebody logged in also. It shows everything.
Yeah, everything. Whether an employee was able to view the data or do any kind of modifications, everything your user activity standard report will give you that information. Okay. So what actually task that employee has got checked and initiated, and which IP address this was being initiated, and date, which business process triggered, was it a update or just read? You can actually find out that information here. The view user activity will provide you activities that user has performed.
Mm-hmm.
This is, this is one of the standard report.
User activity.
Yeah,
Okay.
view user activity, which will issue all the user activities performed by a user.
Mm-hmm. Who will access this one? Everybody will have only like
Workday team.
someone
Only Workday team will have. No other team will have.
for a team that's specific
Only
to
Workday team. Only Workday team members will have.
okay.
Any Workday team member will have
User activity basically. Okay.
user activity report.
Okay.
Okay. So you can know what access that one need to have in order to access this report means you can
Mm.
actually go to the related actions or uh, uh, so you have use security use security for secureable item and use user activity as a standard report name user activity. So the security that you need to have for this is system auditing. Okay, this is the security policy. When you have access to this one, you should be able to
Mm.
access this. Okay. This is how we'll get to know what permissions are required in order to access system auditing. With this domain permissions, you should be getting all the audit report access. So I've shown you view user activity is one of the report, right? Similarly,
Mm.
there are some other reports. Okay, sign on reports, audit reports. So you'll get you'll be getting access to those particular reports when you have access to system auditing security policy. Okay.
Okay. If you don't mind, can you repeat this one? Sorry, I didn't focus on this one.
Having permissions to system auditing security policy will provide you access to manage user activity report, sign on report, any audit security audit report you should be able to access when you have permissions for system auditing security policy domain.
Okay.
Okay, that will let you to access any of the standard audit reports.
Okay.
Clear? Any questions?
No, I got it. Yeah, we use
Okay.
system.
Similarly, there is one more report called sign on and sign on attempts report is one of the report you have which allows you to know
Mm.
overall the users. This is one of the sign on and sign on attempted report. Okay, so I think we don't have access to this report. I believe there's a reason it is not. Okay, I think
Maybe.
vendor has prevented access to that report actually. So that report, sign on and sign on attempted standard report will provide you overall active users who are accessing this tenant now. Okay, so a kind of information of a volume load that is happening in the tenant, you should be able to see. Okay, list of users who are currently active in the system. You should be able to see all that information from the um, sign on attempted report, standard report.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One question. No, like no, who is restricted? Like the vendor means that is the guy who provided this tenant, or like no, who is
Yeah,
the vendor?
vendor who has provided this tenant has restricted some access for us.
So vendor. So in
Vendor.
general, like whenever we are the like subscription with Workday, then like there is no vendor in between, right? The company
No, this
and
is only for training tenants. In general
okay.
scenario, you won't have any tenant vendor. You'll have your company. Your company is is purchasing Workday product, right? There is no
Yeah.
vendor for you. So you'll be getting a default access by your company that you're working for.
Okay.
In order
Okay.
to
Okay. Okay.
bypass or prevent any of the login issues with unauthenticated access, vendor has blocked some of the activities actually. One is
Mm-hmm.
edit security group, assign user based security group. So that thing was blocked actually. Okay. You're not
Okay.
able to perform. And today also, you're not able to view sign on attempted report, which will provide you all the active sign on users.
Okay.
So vendor wanted to prevent that from access. So that's the reason we are not able to see that.
In general, right, security administration daily routine jobs. What are the reports? Main reports. They will like look. Oh, these are the issues coming in, or these are the issues not there. Or like, what kind of reports we see? We need to monitor.
So generally, right, the security administrator role is not a huge one actually. Okay. It
Okay.
is not a separate, in most of the scenarios, only in the case of a large organization whose volume is more than 100, 200, there you will have a separate security team. Okay. So that scenario, whatever the
More than
activities,
100, 200 is employees, or and what is that? I didn't get that. So
so when you have
companies, Walmart
you
or
have
whatever.
100,000 or 200,000 employees, right? If you
Yeah.
want to actually, if you wanted to actually have a support team to work the application, there are multiple teams actually. Okay. So security team will be there, IT team will be there, reporting team will be there, configuration team will be there, solutions team will be there. So all multiple teams will be there, will be accessing each activity of workday. Okay. And if you're
Okay.
part of security team, so you will be actually controlling access for all the users in the tenant or provide them access based on the location. If they wanted to access any data in Workday, we'll be providing access to them. Okay. That way, you'll be
Okay.
managing in a Workday application. In other
So that means
scenarios, that is completely different.
okay. It's based on the employees. Not like then only people will like have separate teams. Uh, Otherwise,
Based
like
on the headcount, definitely there will be multiple teams actually.
in general, normal size, like let's say 1,000, 2,000 employees. What is the team size of Workday? Like once
So
they
when you
implement,
have headcount for below 10,000, you won't have too much Workday team members. Hardly two or three members will be there.
so they will do everything basically.
They will do everything. So
Only three
when you
members.
are hiring those two or three members, from each area you'll hire. Functional person you'll hire one, and integrations you'll hire one, and if there is any kind of reporting expert that is needed based on your demand, you'll be hiring actually. But security administrator, you will typically not see security administrator roles directly. Okay, probably they might be expecting all the security related experience is needed, but ideally, so you'll not see majorly. I've not seen any specific position just for security administrator because most of the activities are managed by Workday. So as a kind of configurator, will not be doing any kind of 100% configurations from scratch, which Workday has not given. So that way I can say you should be able to access uh, everything for what you have access for.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not on that. Maybe I don't know. These are the reports basically. How many reports generally? Like even any security activities. Whatever. Not only that, sector administrator, right? In suspicious activities or any other critical reports we can monitor. So sign on one. The other one is V security. Any other critical needs. So some default.
There are some standard report actually. Okay, so there is something called audit. You can see these are all related to security reports, actually standard reports. Okay.
Okay.
So which allows you to manage active sessions that are currently active. Okay. Who are currently live in Workday, and you can actually access manage active UI sessions. Okay.
Hmm.
Security history, security analysis for Workday account, security analysis for say, security group. So where you can actually access what all the activities that were performed with it. Okay. Unassigned roles, unfilled assignment roles. If there are any roles that are created, but there are no members attached to that roles, you can actually find out a report that gives that information. Okay. So like that you can find, these are all the audit reports that you can actually find out, which are related to security. Okay.
But we are checking Workday standard reports, right? This is standard report or like Workday
Standard
security?
reports, Workday standard reports. Okay. Workday standard report, and we have selected a category: security administrator, security configuration, and security system
Okay.
security with audits. Actually,
Okay.
these are all the kind of standard reports that are managed by managed by ma- managed by security administrator for all the activities that are happening in the tenant.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. 108.
Okay. So here you can find all the security stuff that is happening.
Any important reports from standard or like are any useful main, what are the main useful?
So main useful those reports only that I've shown, sign on reports, user activity report, and there is something called audit exception log report. There is one more report. Majorly, you'll use those three. Okay, so if you wanted to understand some information, so you can actually find out these three reports and access the data.
Okay.
Okay.
There is no support. What kind of support role generally they will look Workday side? Support means in the sense, already implemented, right? Somebody else came and they implemented, even small companies also. So what kind of roles, there should be only three, four people a team, right? In general, Workday side. So customer
Mm.
side, once the implement is done. So what kind of skills they should have, technical
So
related
in this
or?
scenario, they'll be having both functional and technical actually. Functional skills will be required to actually take care of all the function configurations, existing business process configuration changes, or or I told you, right? I already every year there will be two or three recurring projects will be there for every customer. One
Mm,
is your performance review. The other one is your compensation review. The other one is your benefit enrollments as part of open enrollment. So these three use customers will generally have in that particular time actually. When October comes, your open enrollment starts. Okay. When November, December comes, your annual review or compensation review cycle starts. Okay. There, both technical and functional team will be involving in that particular configuration. Functional team will be involving in functional areas, and technical team will be involving in technical sessions actually.
okay. Okay.
So the technical team will be creating reports, calculated fields, and if any kind of statements are required, they'll be creating statements. Functional team initiating a compensation changes, loading the compensation data, okay, and providing access to users only on the visibility date. Let's say compensation review, review process is completed on November 30th. Okay, and manager view, employee will view on separate dates actually. December 5th, manager should get access to view compensation exchange data. On this 1 week, manager will be discussing with the employee. 10th of December, all the employees should get access to view their compensation change. So your functional team and security will be coordinating and make their particular changes so that on 10th December, employee will be seeing their compensation changes actually.
Mm-hmm. But how these people will have a small team of people will handle all these things? So right, let's 3 4 people, like let's say most of the companies will have like little less than 10K.
Mm.
So person needs to do everything, like only two to
Everything
three.
is bulk load, no. So it is not a kind of a one by one task. So one configuration makes all the difference actually. Okay. If you wanted to load all the compensation data, so it's a kind of inbound integration load. So they'll be loading all the data into Workday. So it is not a kind of complex activity, no. If you're having enough, if you're having enough skills, you should be able to handle.